So, the Nintendo Switch 2 is out, and the internet is in a rage, hating it. Negativity sells and it brings clicks, we all know that, and somehow I find it totally annoying. It's at the moment très chic to just find reasons why this new gadget by Nintendo's obviously sucks. Well, okay, sure. I bought one, so everybody will now say, yeah, I have to justify burning my money on it. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I had a ton of concerns when I bought the original Switch, for all the obvious reasons. It was slow, the tech was outdated back then, and it was not even a really portable device. Because also with the Nintendo Switch 1, how long could you use it? When you were playing some hardcore game, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, and then the battery runs out. And then the other thing is, it seems they sold around 155 million Nintendo Switch 1s, and in my whole life I have never seen a person in the wild playing a game on a Switch. I've actually never seen one in the real life. I saw a Steam Deck once, and there were only 4 million Steam Decks sold so far. So I should have seen a Switch. I never did. Makes you wonder. Yeah, because the only reason, the only places where people actually can use a Switch is at home, or where they do use it, in bed, on the toilet, maybe on the couch. I think that's about the size of it. And even kids don't... I've never seen a kid playing one either. And certainly not outside, where it breaks easily and the parents will freak out that a 300 or 400 euro or dollar device breaks. So parents will watch out for that the kids never take it outside, right? Well, at least that's my experience in Europe. So it never really was an outdoor device or a mobile device. Also, the big question is, how many mobile gadgets do you want to take outside? Your iPad or your Android tablet, plus your smartphone, plus a Switch, plus your notebook. So you already have 4. In that scenario, you would have 4 mobile devices, right? Sounds a bit insane. And if you have a notebook that you carry with you, you don't need a Switch and you don't need a tablet. I mean, Apple tries to talk you into doing this one gadget for each purpose, but that's a whole load of bull, and we all know it. If you carry a notebook with you, you don't need any of the other things except for the phone. So, and here comes the thing: if you already have a powerful smartphone in your pocket, you don't need something like the Switch on the go, because your Google Pixel or your Samsung Galaxy or your Apple iPhone can do the same thing, right? Right. So, why would you buy a Switch then? To take her with you? I don't know. I never understood the whole concept. I understand all the people who ask for a Switch that can be used only stationary, like a PlayStation or an Xbox. Truth be told, if they had this device on sale, if Nintendo would have produced such a device, I would have bought it myself. And I don't care about the mobile parts at all. My eyesight is so bad, these displays are so small, even at 7.9 inches, that's borderline small for me, depending on what fonts the game uses and whatnot. So I will almost never use it in mobile mode. I already know that. So for me it's another stationary console, which I bought mostly for the few Nintendo exclusive titles or for a bunch of indie games that are being developed and are being sold on the Switch that for some strange reason do not make it to Xbox. And some of them might not even make it to the PC. So that's the main reason why I use a Switch. Now, what was I expecting from this new Switch? Well, everything that Nintendo actually gave me. She has a higher build quality, she has a nicer screen, she has a bigger screen, she is faster, and she can run a game like Cyberpunk. So, not that I'm a fan of Cyberpunk, but as I said in my other video, Cyberpunk is a benchmark. If a console can run Cyberpunk, then that console can run anything. It's that simple. And this thing here can run Cyberpunk quite nicely. So, everything's good. Yeah, and I have this little guy here, Mr. Mario, and the other Nintendo exclusive titles. I can play them, I can enjoy them. It's, yeah, maybe this Nintendo stuff is all just mostly for kids, but that's fine. I would rather call it family friendly, because it spreads over generations. You can enjoy them as a kid, you can enjoy them as an adult. The humor is there. Nothing ever really happens to anybody. They don't need violence, they don't need gore, they're just fun. Light-hearted fun. And that makes them great. And that is worth buying a Nintendo Switch, full stop. So there's nothing wrong with it. Now, the next complaint that I hear everywhere is the thing is too expensive and the software is too expensive. Yeah, and in this economy and blah blah blah. Sure. Yes, I would have preferred if she would have only cost 290 euros, including tax, or 330 euros like the previous model, including tax. Sure, who wouldn't? But for what I get here, the performance, the build quality, the gigantic software library, and the fact that she is fully backwards compatible, except for a fistful of games that require some hardware or whatever that doesn't exist for the new console. I think the price is super reasonable. There, I said it. I find it's okay. The game prices. Yeah, well, I don't really know what the people are complaining about there. If people shelf out 110 euros for Doom the Dark Ages in the Ultimate Edition or whatever it is called, or 110 euros for Stalker 2 in the Ultimate Edition, which I personally did for the Xbox Series X. I paid the 110 bucks. So why should I complain about putting 80 bucks on the table for Mario Kart World? I'm not getting it. Besides, nobody is forcing the other software companies to use the same prices. Hitman was 60 euros. That's a normal price. So, costs the same everywhere. Cyberpunk costs also 70 euros on all the other platforms. So it isn't more expensive on the Switch. Yes, Nintendo titles got a price bump, and Nintendo titles are almost never on sale. At least not the ones that you might want to buy, or the big titles like Zelda. Okay, so it's Nintendo's call. You don't have to buy it. If you think that's too expensive, well, okay. If they don't want to sell it cheaper, I mean, they put in the money to develop those games, to build those brands. It's their call. They don't have to. You can force them to sell it cheaper, and well, you are not forced to buy it. It's basic economy. They might reduce the prices if they see that nobody wants to buy it at that price point. But I mean, they are the most successful console on the world, at least the original Nintendo Switch was. They sold more units of the original Switch than PlayStation and Xbox combined. So let that sink in for a moment. They own this console market. They're the most successful player. And so far they got away with their price policy. No? And it's not like we don't have inflation. It's not like there is an administration in the White House that is putting tariffs on everything. So, okay, but that's a US specific thing. I live in Europe. I'm not really bothered by this. I mean, if tariffs increase in the United States, that becomes a second or third hand problem here, maybe. That doesn't affect us Europeans that much. Not yet, at least, I think. It's a horrible thing for you right now. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, here in Europe, the companies then use it as an excuse to also raise the prices here, of course. So yeah, when you look at it from that perspective, we are also affected by it. But yeah, the reality is that for a couple of years now, everything has become is constantly getting more expensive for a crapload of reasons. Here in Europe, mostly because of the war in Ukraine, let's face it, and the sanctions, which harm us more than they harm Russia. It's also a fact of life and a reality, but nobody wants to openly talk about here in Europe. At least they pretended it's not the truth, but it is true. So, yeah. Yes, that leads me back to the circle, you know. Yeah, I would have preferred to pay less for this machine. But thing is as it is. And is it worth it? From where I stand, yes, absolutely. This machine feels so much better than its predecessor. Everything runs more smoothly, everything looks better, everything feels better. Should you buy it right now? Well, that is another topic. For me, since I'm a tech geek and I love having these things when they're new, love playing with them, love looking at them, fiddling with them, and yeah, drop the one or the other YouTube video, even though I'm not making any money with YouTube. Yeah, for me, absolutely. I could when I had a chance to pre-order it, I did. But realistically, there are at the moment, what is it, like 20, 25, maybe 30 titles that actually are native to the Nintendo Switch 2 or that have been optimized for that new console. No, it's an early adopter situation. You can safely wait 6 months, 12 months maybe even, before you even have to think about buying this new console. It's a fact somehow. I mean, if you have the previous Switch, then keep playing it, keep using it. It's... yeah, I mean, the old model still does the job. But yeah, one thing about this, literally every original Switch 1 title that I played on this new console runs better. They run more stable at more stable frame rates, performance is better, they load faster. Yeah, that makes it worth upgrading, even if there are no new games for the new console yet. But everything that's older runs better on this one here. So, another argument to upgrade actually. But if you're on a budget, and if you didn't feel any pain because your favorite game sometimes drops from 30 FPS to 25 FPS. If you are used to this and if that's tolerable for you, which, let's face it, in most cases it is, then yeah, stick to your money and sit it out for a while until this system here has received a couple more updates, a couple more games, and might even go on a sale somehow at some point. But the thing you should not do is buy into the negative hype thing that's going on at the moment, because none of it is really true or worth considering, or thinking about, or buying into, believing. This is a good system. It is, yeah, maybe expensive. Maybe it is not what everybody was expecting or hoping for, but truth be told, nobody has ever made a feasible statement about what they were actually waiting for or were expecting from Nintendo. Everything I read was they all wanted a better Switch. Well, now they have it, and now that is also not good enough, right? Yeah, it still is a Switch. She is better build quality, faster, more reliable, whatever. Maybe, I don't know if she's more reliable yet, but she feels like a whole lot more bang for the buck. It's just a better version of the old one. Except for maybe battery life, I don't know, because I don't play in portable mode. And if I play in portable mode, then I usually have my charger around anywhere. When I have it nearby, I plug this thing in. For some strange reason, I was always expecting then that the performance would be better. Which, okay, the way they designed that system is not the case. But still, it's just me. Anyway, I use this thing plugged in, and I'm pretty sure that most people do it that way, or have been doing it for the last couple of years when they were playing the original one. So there's that. Battery life, I don't really care. I play this thing on a big screen here with the Pro Controller in hand, and like I said, I would have bought a stationary version of it without a screen and without Joy-Cons and whatnot. I would have preferred it. But they are not giving me that, so I have to live with what they're giving me. And what they're giving me here, again, is good. And I think it's worth the price. So, that's me. And all of that just to make a contrary statement to the whole negativity that I find really annoying and unnecessary and destructive, and they are probably just doing it as clickbait, which I hate, totally hate when they do that, because there's no substance behind it except for I wanna dance on someone else's grave just to make a quick buck, and I don't like that attitude at all. So there was an old saying, and maybe I'll finish with that saying, and it is, if you don't have anything positive to say, then say nothing. And with that thought, I'm gonna leave you here and play a bit more Mario Kart, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.